Hello, this is Flurry Moon. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing a spooky villager hunt because this video is going up on Halloween. I am so excited. I'm filming this a couple days before Halloween, so we do have the vibes. I also will be reading some spooky stories, some from Reddit, but some from you guys, and I am so excited. So we are looking for a spooky villager today. I'm hoping for either Lucky, Biscuit, or Coco. I know they're kind of basic, but listen, it's Halloween and I just really want a spooky villager. We have 24 tickets, which some of you might think is not a lot, but to me, that's a lot because I usually have like 5 tickets on villager hunts. If something interesting happens in this villager hunt, we'll cut back to me right now. Other than that, we're just gonna start reading the stories. So here we go. Okay, so we have 4 stories submitted by you guys. So we're gonna read those, and if we have any time, I'll probably just find some Reddit stories to read. But before we get into it, I think we should have a little Halloween party in the comments where everyone can tell their spooky, creepy, weird stories. They do not have to be ghost stories. They do not have to be anything paranormal. They could be if you want, just on the spooky side, because this video is probably going up the day before Halloween. So yeah, so let's just get into you guys' stories. I don't know. Also, I saved these to read for the first time. I did skim this first one though, but this is my first time really going into it. This first story is from Maya6511, I think. Hope it's Mia. I don't know, you guys. Hello, I have a bit of a spooky story. My brother and I used to go and stay with our dad every other weekend when we were kids, and my dad's house always had an off kind of vibe. My dad had no carpet on his stairs, so there was no sneaking up or down them, lol. I always had trouble sleeping in that house due to the previously mentioned off vibe. Very late at night when I couldn't fall asleep, and after I heard my dad go to bed, I would hear this really creepy music. It happened most times I went for maybe a few years, but suddenly just stopped. Years went by and I didn't hear any more creepy music, so I thought I probably just imagined it since I was the type of kid who would be constantly daydreaming. Until one night, me and my brother were both struggling to sleep when I heard him whispering, trying to get my attention, so I took my earphones out and he says, "Maya, do you hear that creepy music?" And I heard the same creepy music I had heard years ago. I don't think I ever had a good night's sleep in that house regardless of how tired I was. When I told my dad about all this, he told me that other weird stuff that used to happen in the house. He said that when my brother was a baby, he would hear noises on the baby monitor when my brother was quietly sleeping, and that he had this painting that the dog would bark at and my brother would cry at. In conclusion, I'm very glad he moved this year. That is insane. Sorry if I yap a bit after the stories. I just have so many thoughts always. I have definitely heard of that before, like people hearing creepy music at night. Side note, has anyone ever experienced exploding head syndrome? I don't get this a lot, but when I do, it's really annoying actually. Sorry if this is completely off topic, but sometimes when I'm sleeping and I've been trying to sleep for a long time and can't, I'll hear like loud crashes in my brain. This is gonna make me sound insane, you guys. It's a real thing. It doesn't happen a lot. Everyone's gonna think I'm crazy. I'm not saying this is exploding head syndrome. This is definitely real shit. I'm definitely a believer in like paranormal stuff. I have never experienced anything, which I'm grateful for, but also is kind of unfortunate because as someone who wants to believe it so bad, I'm like, I wish I had some tangible evidence. But yeah, so thank you for submitting that. I can't wait to see what the comments say, and if anyone else has had an experience like this. I feel like this is probably a common ghost experience that people have because I feel like I've just heard that creepy music thing so much, and I'd be dead. I'd be screaming, running, and crying and throwing up. Anyway, let's move on to the next story. Okay, so this one I got on Instagram DMs from, I think it's Maxi with a 4 as the A and all underscores and stuff on Instagram, and they DM'd me this. I have not even read it at all, so I'm very excited. Hi, I saw your community post about the spooky stories and thought I'd submit one. It's quite short, but it still weirds me out to this day. So this happened about a year ago. It was just me and my mom home. We were upstairs and our dog was downstairs in the living room. At some point, I heard the front door open and then close. didn't think anything of it because I thought it was probably my brother coming home from work. However, whenever we come into the house, we usually say something like, "It's me," or "I'm home," mostly because our dog is one of those dogs that barks every time someone comes in, so it helps her to hear our voice and she calms down. I could hear Lola, our dog, barking, but there was no call of who it was. My mom came out of her room asking me if I just heard the front door open too, so I said yes. Lola continued barking like crazy before immediately stopping as if she realized it was someone she knew. As my mom is in my room, we heard the front door open and close again. Both confused, we go downstairs and look out the window. No one is there. Lola is still going crazy as if she's just been playing with someone. Very excitable dog when people come in. We even checked the Ring doorbell and there is no footage of anyone coming in or out of our house. To this day, both me and my mom are confused and honestly a little scared of what the fuck happened that day. If it had just been me who heard the door, I could pass it off, but both of us and our dog reacting like someone's come in, I don't know, man, it's crazy and it haunts me. My jaw is on the floor. That is insane. I felt the same way reading the first story. I would honestly probably feel grateful that someone else heard it. In the first one, the little brother heard the music too, because otherwise I feel like I would also just be like, maybe I just imagined that. I feel like as humans, we're very like, I must just be imagining things, you know? So for both of you to hear, and the dog, I don't know, the dog gets me, the fact that nobody was there, that is the type of thing that really freaks me out. Sorry, I'm just shook right now trying to figure out like what could have happened. Maybe the wind? I don't know. That's such a lame excuse. Also, side note, what is everyone being for Halloween? I am being Zatch Bell. Literally an anime nobody in the entire world knows about, and I actually didn't know it until like 2 weeks ago. Me and my boyfriend were watching and I was like, hold up, why is that the vibe we bring to the function? So that's what I'm doing. Also, what coffee are we drinking? I made a brown sugar oat milk shaken espresso. I added the Chobani cookie dough creamer. You guys, if you haven't tried it, you need to. All you need is like a tablespoon or 5, and it is so amazing. Anyway, let's move on to our next story. Okay, so this next one is from Belle Sterling 9564. I also haven't read this one, so I'm very excited. Don't gotta believe me, people who don't believe in ghosts won't, but growing up, my family was always really haunted. Like, we called 2 separate priests into our houses, and one refused to even come in, while the other came, quickly threw holy water around to cleanse the house, and then darted the fuck out of there. We'd wake up with scratches on our chests, even if we slept face down, etc. Oh my god. Anyway, the spookiest thing to happen to me personally, not my sisters, they have even scarier ones, please tell me them, was when I was living in a place with no internet or cable at the time. That's the scariest story of them all. I'm kidding, sorry. Different house than the one I mentioned earlier, but still pretty haunted. Anyway, me and Sister 1, who I shared a room with, called Sister 2, who lived in a different state, but in an old family home we'd also had haunted experiences in. We chatted and everything, but then Sister 2 tells me she has to use the bathroom. While she's gone, I asked her if she could play a song for me on YouTube that I could listen to over the phone since, like I said, I had no internet and hadn't heard it in a while. So she does, and off she goes. The song gets about 20 seconds in and Sister 1 starts talking to me, but as she does, the music through the phone goes quiet, like someone turned the volume down. It didn't just cut off, it trailed off. Again, like someone had turned it down rather than just pausing it. Then I started hearing whispering through the phone. Oh my god, you guys, I'm gonna cry. There are tears in my eyes. I get teary-eyed when things are really scary. I wish you could see me right now. I tell Sister 1 to be quiet real quick and put the phone on speaker. She sits up in our bed and we both freak out. I had already muted it, not wanting whatever was whispering to us to hear us. We try to listen to what it said, but it was unintelligible whispers. We're both scared and freaking out for about 1.5 minutes when the music starts back up. Again, as if someone was turning it up. And the craziest part was, the song was where it would have been if it had kept playing. It didn't start up where it had left off. It was as if whatever this thing was turned the volume down, whispered into the phone, then turned it back up. About 10 seconds or so later, my sister came back to the phone, and I was like, Sister 2, was that you? I seriously won't be mad if it was you and you were just playing a prank on me, like seriously, but Tell me if it was you. She had no idea what it was or what we were talking about until we explained it to her. She swore it wasn't her, and since we had lived in a myriad of haunted houses growing up, I believe her. She even swore on her own grave, lol. So I believe her, but yeah, that's my spookiest story. Said house that call happened in, I still visit to this day. Again, it's a family home, and this isn't the only spooky thing to happen there, but certainly spookiest for me. That was terrifying. I would love to know what that thing was saying. What song was it? I believe you 100%. I believe all these people. I wonder what makes more people open to experiences. Like, I wonder if the more skeptical you are, ghosts are more drawn to you, or the other way around. I know that children are a lot more vulnerable to paranormal experiences. I feel like it's probably because they don't have any like judgment in their brain. You know, it's like their purest soul you can get, and maybe that's why ghosts are more drawn to them, because they don't have any judgment or like darkness in their heart or something. I feel like if an adult sees a ghost, they're gonna come up with all these reasons why it couldn't possibly be a ghost. Like, there's no way, I don't believe that shit. But like a kid doesn't have that yet. They don't have those opinions. They don't have that disbelief yet. So I don't know. That's a total tangent I just went on. Because your family and houses are so prone to it, I'm like, I wonder what makes that happen. And do ghosts follow the people or the houses? I don't know. Please, if you are listening to this, writer of the story, I would love if you commented more of your spooky stories, because that is the type of shit that makes my eyes water. My eyes are watering again because I'm so scared. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. Someone actually commented to that. It feels like your family is cursed or something because you had so many spooky stories and the scary stuff keeps following you everywhere. Let's see. We have one more story and I'm excited to see what it's all about. So let's go. So this is from, oh god, how do I pronounce this? Correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Hunie's Cutie, or Hune's Cutie, I'm not quite sure, submitted a story, and this person always comments on my stuff, so I love you. Anyway, this is their story. I don't know, maybe I'm too late, but I'm only seeing this now, but this is my story. Basically, a few years ago, I had my friend over at my house. She got a brand new phone and it didn't have any scratches or something. Like I said, it was a brand new phone. Anyway, the day was going great, and then my mom called us downstairs to eat. My friend put her phone on my bed and started to charge it, and we went downstairs to eat. When we were done, we went upstairs, and her phone screen was broken. Like, the whole screen was broken, not only one crack. But it still worked, and it was in the same exact spot where we left it, and it was still charging. I have a big family, but everyone was downstairs eating at that point, or wasn't at home, and I don't have any pets. Also, my house has pretty thin walls and floors, so you can always hear someone on the second floor moving, and my room is right above the living room / eating area, but we didn't hear anyone upstairs. My friend got in a bit of trouble with her parents because it was a brand new phone, and they didn't believe her when she told the story. To this day, I don't know what or why it happened, and it's not the scariest story, but I can't explain it, and every person I told this to thinks it's kind of spooky. Sorry if my English isn't great, it isn't my first language. You did great, don't worry about it. My eyes are watering again, you guys. What? This right here is my favorite type of scary story. It's not like, ooh, a jump scare, this ghost man started running at me. It's shit like this. That is like unexplainable. My first thought was like, your little sibling wanted to play with it and broke it and got scared and put it back, which I guess is always a possibility, but I believe you. You probably would have heard something and everyone was either with you or out of the house. Like, how do you explain this? Because this is what I do. I love paranormal stuff. Love it. I love unexplainable stuff. I always do think like, what could have happened when I cannot think of anything. It scares me. I can't believe your friend got in trouble. That is like, imagine being like, no, mom, I promise we didn't do it. I am shook. Okay, so those are all of these stories from you guys. So I had some backup Reddit stories in case that these didn't take me long enough. All 4 people who submitted stories, I would love if you submitted any more stories or more clarification if other people in the comments have questions, because I am shook. This one is very short, and it's actually, now that I think about it, very similar to one of the ones I read about the door opening and the dog and stuff. So let's read this one. This is from r/Ask Reddit 11 years ago. So this is an old one, and it's pretty short, but it is spooky. They say, I was sitting in my room after getting out of work on the 2nd floor. Little bro is downstairs watching TV. The dog is in the hallway outside my door sleeping. All of a sudden, dog starts making all kinds of racket, jumping around, barking, clacking nails, howling. I go to get up and see what's up, and I hear, "Aw, that's a good girl," in a male voice. It didn't sound like little bro, so I go, "Oh, you're home already," thinking it is my dad's friend / our roomie as I open the door. Soon as I'm out there, there is no one at all, but the dog is wagging her tail, staring at the empty end of the hallway. Oh my god. Little bro comes upstairs to yell at me for getting his dog riled up, said he heard the same voice, thinking it was me or our roommate. We did a once-over of the house with my butterfly knife and his BB gun, and there was nobody. Still gives me the spooks to this day. That is exactly the type of shit that freaks me out. And I mentioned kids earlier, but that's another one, dogs. It's because they have that like pure soul. Like they don't have judgment. They don't have opinions and their own beliefs and ideas. They are a clean slate. I feel like that's exactly it. I feel like they are a portal. Damn, that is crazy. I also found another one. This is not a ghost story. This is not a paranormal story. This is just a scary human experience that I thought I would share. I believe this is from the same thread on the Ask Reddit subreddit. This is What is Your Scariest True Story Serious? And this is also from 11 years ago. I rode out in front of a car on my bike when I was 11, and the car honked really loud at me. I stupidly flipped the car off, and they came to a screeching halt. A huge guy stepped out and went to open his trunk. His girlfriend, got out of the passenger side crying and screaming, begging him not to open the trunk. I was frozen in fear. He got back in the car and sped off. I have no idea what was in the trunk. Hopefully not a fully automatic machine gun on a turret. Turret? What the fuck is a turret? Hold up. Turret. Not a turret. I have no idea what that is, but I can assume it was a gun of some sort. Or maybe he was trying to like kidnap you or something. Road rage is insane and probably the scariest thing out of all the stories on this because it is very real. You never know how crazy people, I think men in trucks usually are very fragile. They do not like when a little girl like me flips them off. And I need to be a lot more careful. So I think this is the wake-up call for me. And that brings up so many other issues. I guess this is kind of a scary story. This is my scary story. Me, my friend, and my boyfriend, who was in the back of the car. I was in the passenger seat, and my friend was driving. We were driving home from Chili's, because of course we were. We were driving on this long road, and this truck was about to pull out and go in front of us, but he kind of like couldn't decide if he wanted to, I guess. It was one of those big, tall trucks, like man ego type shit. My friend driving was like, okay, like she kind of stopped and was like, what the hell? But she didn't do anything. I gave him a look and I gave him a little like hand motion. I did not flip him off, but I was just like, you know that meme where the girl is like, I'll put it here. That's what I was doing. Basically just like, what are you doing? It was literally like the nicest like road rage I could ever give anyone. He followed us for like 15 minutes afterwards. And at first I was like, it was a long road we were on. I was like, of course he's behind us. He started running through red lights and running through stop signs to make sure that he continued to stay behind us. And at first we thought it was funny. And then we were like, oh no. We eventually lost him because we had to go all kinds of weird ways, weird directions. It was a whole ordeal. and it was funny, but it was very terrifying. So do not even acknowledge men in trucks on the road. And that's about all I have to say. Please comment below all of your weird, creepy, scary, spooky stories because it is Halloween and I want to have fun in the comments. I'm going to be responding to everybody and it's going to be very fun. So yeah. Oh no. Who the f is that? Amelia. What the hell? This is like the worst lineup of villagers I've ever seen. And I only have 11 tickets left. So I guess this is kind of a spooky villager, but I have had Cephalobot before, and I was hoping for a spookier villager and not a robot villager. Oh my god, Cookie! Ah! Oh, it's Cookie! But she's not a spooky villager. But I want Cookie! This was supposed to be spooky. So, I mean, I have 9 tickets left. I feel like I'm gonna take her.
What's spooky is the idea of us
not taking her. So I'm going to take her. Yay! Cookie! So that's about it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know I wanted a spooky villager, but I've really wanted Cookie for a long time, and I think she'll look great on my island. But I hope the vibes were still spooky enough. We told some really creepy stories. Thanks to everyone who submitted. Girl, get back here. Comment below some of your scary stories if you have any. And that's about it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next week. Bye!